Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on a Tuesday morning because I'm now 3-0 my last three board member tier package plays on my premium page. We had the Rays on the money line yesterday. They got the job done by the final of 10-2 over the Giants. The Rays scored, 10 runs in the contest on 18 hits. They had 6 different players with multi-hit games. Definitely a good play there. Solid pick. And the good news is, folks, I have another board member tier package pick going off here today. Now, if you sign up for that membership on my premium page, you are going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. You're also going to get access to my board member podcast absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. Now, if you're not interested in all those plays, but maybe you could use like one a day, you may want to think about signing up for my $1.99 daily best play. It gives you one premium pick every single day for the next 30 days. And yep, you guessed it. It's only going to cost you just $1.99. The math actually works out to be just 6 cents a day. I currently have over 595 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And with that, folks, we're going to get into some free content. Got a massive slate of games here today. I think it took about 5 hours to prepare these games here for you today. So I hope you enjoy the video because it took me all morning. Wow, it was a long grueling day, but hey, I enjoy it. I do it for you guys. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with the Guardians at the Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Cincinnati's $1.20, totals 9.5. Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati, Logan Allen for Cleveland. Now the lefty Allen's got an ERA in the 3s, and he averages just about a strikeout an inning. And even though the Guardians aren't particularly offensive juggernauts, they've certainly been a tough out in their travels. The Guardians strike out fewer times per contest than any other roster in the league. Josh Naylor is in the top 10 in both batting average and RBI. Stephen Kwan's the club leader in hits. Now they're facing a Reds club on the other side who lost 7 out of their last 10. And they now have a losing record at the Great American Ballpark. And guys like Graham Ashcraft really haven't helped matters. The righty's got a losing record on the season right now with an ERA just about in the 5s. It's slightly there. India and Fraley still out for Cincinnati. That's not helping matters either. Freeman and Fry inactive for Cleveland. The Guardians went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, 8 out of Cincy's last 10 fell under the total themselves. Give me Cleveland plus $1, under 9.5. Next matchup, Astros Marlins, 6:40 p.m. East. Houston's minus $1.30, totals 9. Christian Javier for Houston, Johnny Cueto for Miami. Now, Cueto is having a rough go of things in 2023. He's 0-3 through a handful of starts with an ERA in the 5s. And even though the Marlins do tend to get a bunch of base runners, they just can't bring them in. They're a bottom 3 run producing lineup right now in the National League. They're taking on Christian Javier, who's recorded only 2 losses this year and 117-plus innings. The righty's currently 8-2 with 110 strikeouts. The Astros are also doing a nice job of producing runs on the road. They're in the top 5 in the American League in runs per game while traveling. Kyle Tucker's got the 4th most RBI in the bigs. Jose Altuve is hitting .323. 4 out of the Astros' last 7 road games did fall under the total. Meanwhile, Miami went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me Houston minus $1.30, under 9. Next contest, Red Sox, Nats, 7:05 Eastern, first pitch. Boston's $1.65. Boston's minus 165, totals 9 runs. Nick Pivetta for Boston, Josiah Gray for Washington. The Grays just 7-9 on the year with a 1.44 whip. The Nats have also struggled at the plate in the nation's capital. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game at home. They're facing Nick Pivetta, who's been a big strikeout guy this year. The righty's got 120 strikeouts and a 1.17 whip. Now, the Bo Sox are also in the top 3 in hits per game. Masataka Yoshida, he's the club leader in hits. Rafi Devers has the 10th most RBI in the bigs. The Nats are 10-7 to the over in their interleague home games. They also saw the over cash in 5 out of their last 6 Josiah Gray starts. Give me Boston minus $1.65, over 9. Next game, Phillies, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. Philadelphia is $1.20 on the road, totals 8 runs. Zach Wheeler for Philadelphia, Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto. Now the Cooch man's 9-4 with an ERA in the 3s. The lefties also punched out 125 batters. Now these Toronto pitchers collectively, they've been very tough to hit against in their own building. They're striking out over 10.1 batters a game in front of their home crowd. I don't know if the backdrop makes the ball tough to see. I have no clue, but they are really good in their own building. Now they're taking on a Phillies lineup who does have a problem with strikeouts. These guys are in the bottom 5 in the league in strikeouts per game on the road. Brandon Marsh is still out for Philadelphia. Matt Chapman questionable for the Blue Jays. The Jays saw the under cash in their last 4 Kikuchi starts. They also went 7-3 the under in their last 10. Give me Toronto plus $1, under 8. Next matchup, Pirates-Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. The New York Mets are minus $1.40, totals 8.5. David Peterson for New York, Bailey Falter for Pittsburgh. And even though Falter hasn't been great this year, these Pittsburgh pitchers do strike out a lot of batters on the road. They're actually in the top 10 in strikeouts per 9 on the bump in their travels. They're also facing a Mets club who really just can't hit at Citi Field. They're in the bottom 3 in hits per game at home, and they're probably going to need all the runs they can muster up here today, because lefty David Peterson, he's been less than stellar. He's 3-7 with an ERA of 5.61. Starling Marte is still out for the Mets. Ji-Hwan Bae inactive for Pittsburgh. The Pirates' last 3 straight on the road did fall under the total. Meanwhile, New York saw 5 out of their last 8 in Flushing, Queens stay under the line. Give me Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next ball game, Yankees Braves, 7:20 p.m. East. Atlanta's the $2 favorite, totals 10.5. Bryce Elder for Atlanta, Luis Severino for New York. Now Sevy's just 2-7 with an ERA in the 8s. You almost got to think this guy might not be completely healthy, because this is really a down year for Severino. And even if he does throw well here today, the Bombers have had all kinds of problems at the dish. These guys are averaging under 7.6 hits a game for the year, and it's certainly not going to be any easy task getting base runners against Bryce Elder. The righty's 8-4 for the Braves with an ERA in the 3s. Now the Braves arguably have the most dangerous lineup of hitters in the league right now. They're averaging 6 runs a game at Truist Park. Ronald Acuna is in the top 5 in both batting average and OPS. Acuna's also got a league best 55 stolen bases, turning walks into doubles, singles into doubles. He's a terror on the base paths. And of course, speaking of terror, Matt Olson, he is atop the major leagues right now in both home runs and RBI. Ozzie Albies is out for the Braves. Anthony Rizzo still inactive for New York. Atlanta went 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Bombers on the other side, they went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Atlanta minus 1.5, over 10.5. Next matchup, Tigers Twins, 7:40 p.m. East. Minnesota's $1.85, totals 8.5. Bailey Ober for Minnesota, Alex Faedo for Detroit. Now Faedo's recorded only 2 wins this year with an ERA close to 6. The Tigers are also one of the worst road hitting teams in the game. They're averaging under 7.6 hits per contest in their travels. Ober's got 107 strikeouts for Minnesota and a 1.11 whip. And speaking of strikeouts, these Twins pitchers, they fan more batters per 9 than any other staff in the league. Big strikeout guys. And one more thing to add, the Twins have done quite well in their divisional home games. They currently have a .667 win percentage against the AL Central in their own building. Now, injury-wise, Buxton and Gordon are still out for Minnesota. The Tigers saw their last 3 on the road stay under the total, 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me Minnesota minus $1.85, under 8.5. Next game, A's Cardinals, 7:45 East. St. Louis is the $2.25 favorite at home, totals 9 runs. Dakota Hudson for the Cards, Spencer Watkins for Oakland. Now, I pretty much say it in every video, the A's have the worst record in the majors, and they score the fewest amount of runs. They're taking on Dakota Hudson, who's 3-0 on the season. And even though St. Louis has fallen short in the win column this year, they do love hitting at Busch Stadium. They're averaging over 9.1 hits a game on their own diamond. Nolan Arenado's got the 8th most RBI in the majors. Paul Goldschmidt's the club leader in hits. Dylan Carlson's still out. Nolan Gorman is questionable. Meanwhile, on the other side for the A's, Noda and Perez are inactive for Oakland. 4 out of Oakland's last 5 road games did get over the total. As a matter of fact, the A's are 67% to the over in all of their contests when they hit first. Give me the Cardinals -1.5, over 9. Next contest, White Sox Cubs, 8:05 East. The Cubs are -1.80 at Wrigley Field, totals 8.5. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs, Touki Toussaint for the Sox. Now the Sox took the loss in 5 out of their last 7 Touki Toussaint starts. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Sox average only 2.4 runs per contest in those outings I just mentioned, those Toussaint starts. So really falling short producing runs for the guy. Now they're facing Kyle Hendricks, who's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.12 whip. The Cubbies have also been pounding the baseball this year in the friendly confines. They're a top 3 run-producing lineup at home. Cody Bellinger's got the 4th highest batting average in the majors, 6th in OPS. Meanwhile, Nico Horner's the club leader in hits. 7 out of the Cubbies' last 10 meetings with the Sox did get over the total. So if you're into historical trends, lots of overs recently in this crosstown rivalry. The Cubbies are also 25-13 at the over in their interleague contests. Give me the Cubs -1.80, over 8.5. Next ball game, Angels Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Texas is $1.75, totals 8.5. Jordan Montgomery for the Rangers, Lucas Giolito for the Angels. And through just 9 innings with his new ball club, the righty Giolito's got an ERA of 12 flat. They're facing a Ranger club who loves hitting at Globe Life Field. They're averaging over 6.1 runs a game in their own building. Adolis Garcia is the AL leader in RBI, 6th in the entire big leagues in home runs. Meanwhile, Corey Seager is hitting .346 with an OPS in the thousands. Jankowski's still out for the Rangers. Zach Neto's still inactive for Los Angeles. 3 out of the Angels' last 4 road games did get over the total. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give them the Rangers -1.75, over 8.5. Next matchup, Mariners-Royals, 8:10 p.m. East. Seattle's $1.45 on the road, totals 9 runs. Emerson Hancock for the M's, Jordan Lyles for the Royals. Now, Lyles is a pitiful 3-13 on the season with an ERA in the 6s. When it comes to offensive production, well, the Royals don't have much of it. They're in the bottom 3 in runs per game. And even though the Mariners on the other side, they've struggled over the past couple of days, they did still get the W in 13 out of their last 18. Julio Rodriguez is the team leader in hits. Eugenio Suarez, he's got the most RBI. The Mariners went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me Seattle -1.45, under 9. Next contest, Diamondbacks Rockies, 8:40 p.m. East. Arizona's $1.65 on the road, totals 12.5. Joe Manaply for the D-backs, Ty Block for Colorado. Now, the Rockies have done a nice job hitting the ball at Coors Field this year. They're averaging 9 hits a game in their own ballpark. Zeke Tovar, he's the team leader in hits. Ryan McMahon's the club leader in runs scored. They're facing an Arizona team who's in shambles. Their pitching staff is allowing 5.1 runs a game in their travels this year. Jurickson Profar is questionable for Colorado. Give me the Rockies +1.5, over 12.5. Next game, O's Padres, 9:40 p.m. East. San Diego's $1.20, totals 8.5. Michael Wacha for the Pods, Jack Flaherty for the O's. Now, Baltimore's done a real nice job with the bats this year. They're a top 3 run producing lineup in the American League on the road. Adley Rutschman's the club leader in hits. Gunnar Henderson's the team leader in runs. They're facing a Padres club who's on a 3-game skid. And they also dropped 8 out of their last 10. They've also had a tough time in the box at Petco. They're a bottom 10 hit producing lineup. 3 out of Baltimore's last 4 road games fell under the total. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me Baltimore plus $1, under 8.5. Next matchup, Rays Giants, 9:45 East. San Francisco's $1.20, totals 8.5. Jake Junis for the Giants, Zach Littell for Tampa Bay. Littell's got an ERA in the 3s, and he averages just about a strikeout an inning. Tampa's also got a top 3 run producing lineup on the road. Yandy Diaz is hitting .323 with an OPS in the 900s. Randy Rosarena's second on the roster in runs scored. They're facing Jake Junis, who's got an ERA in the 4s and a 1.41 whip. The Giants have also struggled at the dish at Oracle Park this year, actually averaging just 3.8 runs a game in their own ballpark. Wilmer Flores, he is questionable for the Giants. Yastrzemski's out. Wander Franco, obviously out for Tampa Bay. Total-wise, 3 out of the Giants' last 5 at home fell under. They're also 67% to the under in their interleague home games. Give me Tampa Bay plus $1, under 8.5. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Brewers-Dodgers game, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are $2.15, totals 9. That's the $2.15 favorite. Bobby Miller for the Dodgers, Adrian Hauser for the Brewers. Hauser's got an ERA in the 4s with a 1.50 whip. The Brewers have also got themselves a losing record on the road. They're in the bottom 5 in hits per game. Of course, they're facing a red-hot Dodgers club who won their last 8 straight. Top 3 in runs per game. Freddie Freeman's in the top 3 in both batting average and OPS. Mookie Betts is in the top 5 in homers and OPS as well. JD Martinez is questionable for the Dodgers. Winker and Tellez out for the Brewers. 7 out of Milwaukee's last 10 ball games got over the total. They also saw the overcash in 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Los Angeles. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, over 9. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Guardians plus $1, under 9.5. Astros minus $1.30, under 9. Red Sox minus 165, over 9 runs. I have packages on my premium site starting at just $1.99 for 30 days of service. The link is in my bio. Toronto Blue Jays plus $1, under 8. Pirates plus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. Atlanta Braves minus 1.5, over 10.5. Twins minus 185, under 8.5. Cardinals minus 1.5, over 9. Cubs minus 180, over 8.5. Rangers minus 175, over 8.5. Mariners minus 145, under 9. Rockies plus 1.5, over 12.5. Orioles plus $1, under 8.5. Rays plus $1, under 8.5 runs. With my next and final free pick for the video, give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, over 9.